Superstar by Mandy Davis. The meteor shower. It's hard to sleep in shoes. My feet are stiff, the pointy parts of the laces keep poking me, and every time I turn over, the sheets get all twisted around my legs. But I can't take them off. Not now. It's 1:58 a.m. In 2 minutes, Mom's alarm clock is going to beep, and when it does, nothing's going to slow me down. Not even putting on shoes. Last year we saw 19 superstars, and that was with a full moon, which makes them way harder to see. But the moon isn't out tonight, and there aren't any clouds, which means we'll see more. I bet we'll see at least 25, or 30, or maybe even the beep. There it is. I jump out of bed, grab the blanket by the door, and run outside to the middle of the yard, away from the house and trees. When you're watching a meteor shower, you have to try to see as much of the sky as you can. You also have to be somewhere really dark. That's why our yard is perfect. Our yard wasn't always perfect, though. When Dad was alive, we used to live in Florida, in a town with a lot of streetlights that made it really hard to see the superstars. So every year, we'd drive out to Kennedy Space Center, where Dad worked, and watch them there. Sometimes the other astronauts would come too, and we'd all watch them together. Other times it was just Mom and Dad and me. "Lester," Mom yells, "it's pitch black out here. Where are you?" "Right where I always am." She shines a flashlight around the yard. "Turn it off. You're ruining the darkness." "Lester, I'm not about to step in another molehill and twist my ankle again." If she hurt her ankle, she'd have to go back inside and fix it up, and then she wouldn't be out here with me, and that would ruin everything. Mom finally makes her way over to the blanket and flips off the flashlight. It's completely dark again. We lay there for a while and wait, and wait, and wait. I know what my dad used to say. Wishing won't make superstars come any faster. The moment has to be just right. But tonight everything seems to be taking so long. It feels like I'm never going to see any. Just then, a bright light appears in the northeast, rockets across the sky, and disappears down by the horizon. There it is! There it is! There it is! "There's the first superstar of the night, Lester." Mom grabs my hand and looks over at me, which means she's breaking the most important rule of superstar watching. "Mom, you're supposed to keep your eyes on the sky the whole time, remember? If you don't, you might miss—" But I stopped talking, because it's not possible to talk when the biggest and brightest superstar you've ever seen in your whole life appears in the middle of the sky. And then another superstar, just as bright as the first, appears right next to it. And the two balls of light fall together toward the ground, leaving two streaks of light glowing behind them. I keep my eyes focused on the spot where they were. I can still sort of see them there, like the light is burned into the sky. We've seen a lot of superstars. Bright ones, dim ones. Some are gone faster than you can blink. Others seem to hang in the sky, but we've never seen two at the same time before. "A double superstar, Mom, and we just saw it." Mom sits up and stares at the ground in front of her. "What are you doing?" "Lester, you're not even looking at the sky." Mom reaches up and wipes tears out of her eyes. She's crying? Why is she crying? "Lester, I can't do this anymore." "Do what?" She stands up and runs towards the house. "Mom?" She can't leave now. Not when we've only seen 3 superstars and 2 of them were in the sky at the same exact time. I'm standing now too, which means my eyes aren't on the sky anymore. They're on her. Running up the hill and onto the porch and opening the screen door. "Mom!" I yell in my emergency voice. She stops. "Please don't go. Just keep counting, Lester. I'll be back in a minute," she says, and runs inside. She's coming back. Of course she's coming back. We've watched the Perseid meteor shower together every year of my life, every August for the past 10 years, even after Dad died, and Mom and I moved to Indiana and stopped talking about Dad and space and what happened. We've never missed a meteor shower, ever. I lie down on the blanket, stare up into the blackness, and wait. A superstar shoots across the sky. That's number 4. And another. 5. "Mom, you're missing them!" I yell at her. I keep watching and waiting and counting. 17, 18, 19. Hurry up! I yell toward the house. We're almost at 20! I stare up into the blackness and wait for the screen door to squeak open, but it doesn't. The morning after. When I open my eyes, the darkness is gone and the sky is glowing. I'm still on the blanket, all by myself. Mom knows we always watch the Superstars together, and she knows we only watch them once a year. But that night's over. Mom wasn't out here for most of it, and now I can't even remember how many I saw. Was it 26? Or 28? When I get too tired, Mom's supposed to help me inside to bed and write down how many Superstars we saw on a little note card. Then she's supposed to set it on my nightstand so it's the first thing I see when I wake up. But there's no note card, and I'm still outside, and I pull my Superman action figure out of my pocket, squeeze my fingers around him, and rub my thumb over his red and yellow Super S. Why didn't she come back out, Superman? Why? She said she would. She said to keep counting and she'd be back in a little bit. I jump off the blanket and run toward the house. When I get inside, I'm going to walk straight into her bedroom and make her tell me why she never came back out. But she's not in her bedroom. She's right there in the living room, asleep on the couch. The floor around her is covered with wadded up tissues. Seeing her like this, something moves in the way back part of my brain. It was 5 years ago and we still lived in Florida. Mom was sitting on the couch folding towels. I was flying Superman around the living room. But Mom stopped folding and I stopped flying when the TV screen flashed from Mission Control to a video of bright blue sky with 2 balls of light and 2 trails streaking behind them. The announcer's voice came on.
We are unsure exactly what happened at this time, but as you can see from this video, there are 2 trails of light instead of 1. There are 7 people on board.
There were never 2 strikes of light before. Mom dropped the towel she was folding. Why are there 2, Mom? Which one is Dad's ship? She didn't answer. The 2 streaks became 3, then 4. Mom turned the TV off and pulled me onto her lap. Then we rocked. Tears dripped down her cheeks and onto my head. Her phone rang and rang and rang. And even though you're supposed to answer the phone when it rings, we didn't. We just stayed there and rocked. After that, we spent lots of days going places where people patted my head and told me my dad was a hero. Mom spent lots of days lying on the couch surrounded by tissues. Sometimes I'd lie with her. Other times, I'd fly Superman up into the sky and use his super strength to keep my dad's ship from breaking apart. Then Superman and I would carry him back down to safety, over and over and over again. The double superstar and those 2 streaks of light, it made her think of Dad. That's why she was crying last night, and why I have to kick tissues out of the way to make a path to the couch. I sit down next to Mom. She rubs her eyes and looks around the room. It's morning? Yes. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. It's okay, I say, because sometimes you have to say things you don't mean if you want to make your mom feel better. No, it's not, Lester. Let me explain so you understand. Mom sits up and takes both of my hands in hers. Those 2 superstars? They look like Dad's ship breaking apart. Mom leans her head against mine. It just felt like it was happening all over again. A tear drips down her face and lands on my arm. I hand her a tissue. She wipes her face with it, then crumbles it up and throws it on the floor. One more won't hurt, right? I know she's been doing this all night, but seeing her actually throw a dirty tissue on the floor, it's just so unmom-like that I start laughing. She grabs another tissue and blows so long and loud it sounds like one of those horns the mountain men use to call their sheep. She crumbles up the tissue and throws it backward over her shoulder. Then I grab a tissue, hold it up to my own face, and do my best fake nose blow, which sounds more like a noise that usually comes out of the other end of my body. I wad up the tissue and toss it toward the TV. Mom's laughing now, too. She takes another tissue, blow, toss. I take another tissue, pretend to blow, toss. We keep blowing and tossing until the tissue box is empty and we're laughing so hard we can hardly breathe. When we finally stop laughing, Mom turns to me. I could really go for some pancakes right now. You're going to make pancakes? I ask. Mom never makes pancakes, except on my birthday and sometimes on Christmas. Nah, I'm way too tired to cook. What do you say we go to the diner? You mean the place where they pile up the pancakes in a big stack and put whipped cream on top? That's the one. Mom puts her arm around me, but there's no time for hugs when giant stacks of chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream are waiting. Chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream on top. After I finish my giant stack of pancakes, I trade my fork for a spoon and scoop up all the syrup and whipped cream left on my plate. Forks work best for eating the pancakes themselves, but you have to use a spoon if you want to get every last bit of syrup. You can lick the plate too, which works best of all. I know because Mom actually let me try it once. But it took 3 showers to get all the syrup out of my hair. Now I just use a spoon. So, I take it you liked the pancakes, the waitress says, and picks up my empty plate. They're the best I've ever tasted. Mom looks across the booth at me. Better than mine? Uh-oh, the waitress says. You don't put whipped cream on yours, Mom, and sometimes your chocolate chips aren't melted, and that one time you burned them. He's right, Mom says. Mine aren't nearly as good. Plus, food always tastes better when I don't have to cook it myself. Isn't that the truth? The waitress laughs and walks away. That's when I get the idea. It's not a regular kind of idea like a plan for a new Lego creation, or even a great kind of idea like an idea for a new science experiment. This is a super amazing, make you want to jump up and down if your mom says yes kind of idea. Mom! Yeah? She takes another bite of pancake. We should come here and get pancakes every Tuesday. This was just a special thing we did today. We can't. Sure we can. Just listen to all the reasons. We already come into town on Tuesdays so we can do my lessons at the library instead of at home. The library is just down the street from here. I love pancakes. You love food you don't have to cook. Oh, and we could start calling Tuesday Pancake Day. It's perfect, Mom. She reaches into her purse and pulls out something. I have a surprise for you, Lester. Well, 2 surprises, really. You mean presents? No, not exactly, but I think they're even better than Pancake Day. Mom opens her hand. Inside is a blue plastic rectangle with words carved in the front of it. Lucy Musselbaum. How may I help you? There's a little white book icon next to her name. This is a library name tag, Mom. It is. And it has your name on it. She smiles really big. Lester, I got a job. At the library? She nods. The library we go to every Tuesday? She nods again. If Mom works at the library, that means she'll be going there every day. And if Mom goes there every day, then I'll get to go there every day too, because we always go to the library together. I'll sit at a work table and do my lessons, and anytime I have a question or need to look something up, it'll be so easy because I'll be in a library. When do we start? Mom shakes her head no. Why is she shaking her head no? Oh, Lester, she says. You can't come with me. But we always go to the library together. I know we used to, but it's my job now and that changes things. I'll be cataloging books and helping people find what they need. I won't be able to be with you. But I don't need you with me all the time, Mom. Remember last week? Remember how you said that since I'm 10 now, I can spend time there by myself? For an hour, Lester, not 6. I pull my knees up into the booth and wrap my arms around them until I'm a tiny little ball. But I can't stay home by myself. How would I make lunch? You said it's not safe for me to use the stove. She grabs my hand. You're right. It's not. That's why you're not staying home by yourself either. I pull my hand away. Mom, you're not making any sense. If I'm not going to the library and not staying home, what's going to happen to me? Mom smiles really big. You get to go to school. Away. Our booth starts to drain of air. It's like I'm in spaceship's airlock chamber getting ready for a spacewalk, but I forgot to put on my oxygen tank. Oh, Lester, you're going to love it so much, Mom says. You'll have science and math, just like we do at home, and a whole class for art. And you'll get to eat lunch in a cafeteria, and you'll have recess and music class. Oh, and spelling. You're so good at spelling. And she keeps saying more and more things about what school is like. The words pile on top of each other and fill up my brain in the booth, and I know that if I don't get out of here quick, they're going to smother me. So I run. Through the diner, out the doors, across the sidewalk, onto the street. Brakes screech. A car slides to a stop a few feet away from me, but I have to keep running. Past the car wash, past the grain silos, onto the railroad tracks. Lester! I keep going and going, stepping on railroad tie after railroad tie, getting to outrun that word hanging in the middle of my brain. School. I don't go to school. I have school. With my mom. At the kitchen table. First wake up, then breakfast, then math and reading, then snack, then writing, then lunch, then science, and sometimes history, unless I can talk Mom out of it. That's how school's always been. Lester, stop! Mom's right behind me. She grabs my arm and pulls me down off the train tracks to the edge of the cornfield. She's sucking in big gulps of air. You almost got hit by a car! I pull Superman out of my pocket and straighten out his cape. If he stood in front of a speeding car, the car is the one that would die. Mom puts her hand under my chin and raises my head up, so my eyes should be looking straight at hers. But I don't let them. I look at the ground, the corn, the sky. It's okay if you don't look at me, she says. But I need you to listen. I turn away from Mom and fly Superman in circles. Lester, I'm listening. Even though I can't see her face, I can tell she's crying because of the snuffling sounds. When I saw you run out in front of that car, Lester, you just have to be more careful. She puts her hands on my shoulders. Thinking about losing you, it just scares me so much. Well, I'm scared too. About the car? No. I sit down in the dirt. About school. Mom walks around and sits down facing me. Tell me. I don't mean to cry, but the tears just start pouring out. It's just, I've never even been inside a school building before. I don't know what it will be like. Then we'll go there. We can see it before the first day, then it won't feel scary anymore. Mom wipes the tears off my cheeks. What else? There's going to be other kids there. You'll make friends. You'll have someone else to talk to and play with. Mom takes Superman out of my hand and flies him around in front of me. Doesn't that sound fun? I put Superman back in my pocket. It sounds different. Mom nods. It is going to be different. And I'm going to have a teacher who isn't you. I bet your new teacher will be really nice. Maybe even nicer than me. That makes me laugh. I can't imagine anyone being nicer than Mom, or a better teacher. I don't understand why you have to get a job. She brushes the hair out of my eyes and behind my ear. Lester, you know I love being your teacher, but I love other things too, like books and helping people. You never wanted to work at the library before. I used to be a librarian, Lester, and I loved it. But once you were born, I wanted to stay home with you more. And now you don't? No, Lester, of course not. I want to stay home with you. Mom takes a deep breath. But there's another reason why I need to get a job. What is it? It's an adult reason, and you might not understand. I might if you tell me. So she does. She tells me how expensive things are, like gas and food and having a house to live in, and she tells me how our savings is running low. If she doesn't get a job, we won't have enough money for things we need. And even though I'm not an adult, I understand how important those things are. And getting a job is the only way? I ask. It's the only way. Are you sure, Mom? Lester. What percent sure are you? I'm 100% sure. That's the highest percentage there is, which means I'm going to school. Quarry Elementary School. Quarry Elementary School looks a lot like Quarry Library. It has the same red brick walls, the same metal slats on the windows, and the same rectangles of grass next to the sidewalk. But inside, I know it'll be much different. Come on, Lester. Once you know what it's like, it won't be scary anymore. Mom pulls open one of the doors and walks through. Everything's going to be fine. How do you know? I just do. She holds her hand out to me and I don't take it. There's no way she could possibly know that everything's going to be fine. The sooner we go in, the sooner we can leave here and go to the library, she says. That is true, and I do need to go to the library as soon as possible to work on my research. I take a deep breath and follow her, first into a big open hallway, and then into a room with a sign next to the door that says Main Office. The lady sitting behind the desk looks up from her computer. Can I help you? I called a few days ago about enrolling my son, Lester Musselbaum. The lady stops typing something. We'd also like a tour of the school, Mom says. That way he'll know where to go on the first day. I won't be able to take you, but the school's open right now, so you can go by yourselves. She types something else on her computer. What was the name of his last school? I'll need to get his records and send them over right away. Actually, we've been homeschooling until now. The lady stares at me. Then she shuffles through a folder. How old is he? He just turned 10 in July. That would make him a 5th grader. Let me check class sizes. She spins in her chair and clicks through the few screens on her computer. That'll put him in. Hold on. She clicks a few more times, then lets out a big breath. Mrs. Raines' class, room 17. She grabs a map of the school, circles room 17, and scoots it across the desk toward me. Then she hands Mom a clipboard with some papers on it. Fill these out and you can sit over there. Mom works on the papers while I study the map of the school. Room 17, Raines. It's right there between room 16, Perez, and room 18, Turner. I follow the path from the main office to room 17 with my finger. It doesn't seem too hard, just 3 turns. A few minutes later, Mom takes the clipboard back up to the lady. I'd like to speak with the principal, if I could. The lady picks up her phone and pushes some buttons. Mr. Marmel? Yes, Mrs. Musselbaum would like to see you. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. She hangs up the phone. You can go on in. She points to a door at the side of the room that says Principal in big black letters across the glass. I stand up. Lester, I need you to stay out here. By myself? She pulls her chair over close to mine. Just for 10 minutes or so. There's a clock right there on the wall. You can count down the minutes if you want to. You can't leave me alone with a stranger. She's not a stranger. Everyone who works at your school is a safe person. Mom stands up and walks over to the principal door. I'll be back soon, and then we can take a tour of your new school. I study the map for a while. The building is really just a big square with hallways coming off every corner. Pretty soon I know how to get from my classroom to every other room in the school. There's a box of Legos in the conference room if you want to go play with them. The lady behind the desk points down the hall. Lego bricks? What? You have to call them Lego bricks, not Legos. And why is that? Because of the rules. You're not supposed to put an S on the end of the word Lego. You're supposed to put a noun after it, like Lego bricks or Lego creation, and you also have to capitalize all the letters in Lego. Her eyes move in a half circle around the top of her eye sockets. Fine, there's a box of capital letter Lego bricks in the conference room if you want to go play with them. Are they sorted by shape and by color? No, it's just a big box of Legos. Lego bricks. She opens her mouth like she's going to say something else, but closes it again when a really tall woman walks into the office from down the and back the hallway. The woman puts a paper in the slot on top of a big machine at the side of the room and pushes some buttons. When the machine starts whirring and whooshing, the woman turns and walks over to the desk. I'm sorry, Regina. The front lady puts a piece of paper in front of her face so she can't see her mouth, but I can still hear her. For what? The woman asks. The lady points at me. That's Lester Musselbaum. He's in your class. That's her. That's my teacher. I look up at her face so I can memorize it. I don't remember Musselbaum on my list. He just enrolled today. Well, now I'm up to 28. 28 what? I ask. Where'd he come from? She looks over at me and then back at the other lady. Don't tell me Greenville. They're always so far behind. The front desk lady leans in. He didn't move from anywhere. He was homeschooled. And you gave him to me? The teacher whispers. Mary, you know this is my last year. I've already paid my dues. I had to, Regina. Anna was already at 29 and you only had 27. The machine stops. My teacher picks up a pile of papers from the side. Only 27. She puts one of them in a slot on top of the machine and pushes a button. The machine whirs and whooshes, but this time it stops after spitting out just one paper. 27 what? My voice is louder now. Students. My teacher looks over at me. And it's 28, including you. 28 kids? In the same room? All the books I've read for my school research showed pictures of 15 kids at most. I know because I counted them. But never 28. That's almost 30, which is 15 times 2. My mother grabs the paper off the machine and adds it to her stack. Welcome to school, Lester Musselbaum. Research. When we get to the library, I grab the last 5 books off the back-to-school bookshelf and head to my study table in the corner of the children's section. Almost done with that school research of yours? Miss Jamie asks as I walk by her desk. I have to be almost done. School starts tomorrow. Tomorrow. I'll be in my new classroom with my new teacher and all those kids I've never met before. Did you know I used to live in Texas when I was a kid? Miss Jamie asks. I shake my head no. I loved it there, Lester. We had this big house on a street with giant trees, and my best friend Maria's family lived 2 houses away. Every summer, Maria and I would ride our bikes down to Mr. Allister's pond and swim and catch frogs. This one time, Lester, we decided we were going to keep one of those frogs as a pet, so we brought him home and put him in a bathtub. Miss Jamie laughs. You should have heard my mom scream when she went to take a shower that night. Miss Jamie, I need to do my research now. 'Tis true, my dear. She holds a finger up in the air, but you also need to hear this story. You see, this one day, those squirrely parents of mine decided that we were moving to Indiana. I didn't want to go. I cried and begged and made deals, but a few months later, our house was packed in a yellow moving truck, and all 4 of us kids were piled into the back of the station wagon. We drove right out of the Lone Star State and never looked back. Well, that's not exactly true. My sister and I looked back the whole way because we were sitting in a seat that faced backward. Miss Jamie? Yes, I know. We're burning daylight here, but the thing is, Lester, I met Paula in Indiana, and even though we never caught a frog, we got a rabbit once and kept it for 2 weeks before my mom found out. And Paula's still my friend, Lester, over 30 years later. Do you understand what I'm saying? That you have a friend named Paula? No, Lester, I'm saying that maybe you'll meet your Paula at school. She smiles at me. In less than 24 hours, I'm going to be at my school. I don't have my research done, and I'm standing here listening to Miss Jamie tell me I might meet someone named Paula. I have to finish my research now, I tell her, and walk away before she can say anything else. When I get to my study table, I open up the top book in my pile. School, here I come. There's a little cartoon mouse wearing a backpack on the front cover. School, here I come. Time for learning, time for fun. I write learning and fun in my research notebook. Time for staying in the lines. Time for reading. The kid at the next table is staring down at a page of double-digit subtraction problems and talking to himself. It's really hard to concentrate on reading when someone at the next table is saying math problems out loud. It's even harder to concentrate when he's doing them wrong. The answer's 47, I tell him. What? He looks up from his paper. You did it wrong. I explain the steps. That way he'll understand how I got the right answer. He reaches over and grabs School, Here I Come out of my hand. Yeah, well, you're reading a book for babies. He flips through the pages like he doesn't even care if he rips them. This looks like something my little sister would read. It's for research. What are you researching? Mousies? He moves the book around like the mouse on the front cover is dancing. The plural form of mouse is mice, and if I were researching mice, I wouldn't use a book with a cartoon on the front cover. Whatever, baby, he says, and throws the book back on the table. I turn away from him and stare down at the page. Time for staying in the lines. Time for reading books with rhymes. What are the mousies doing now? He asks. The mice are reading. He leans back in his chair. I hate to break it to you, baby, but mousies don't read. I know that mousies, he laughs. Mice, I meant to say mice. I slam down the book on the table, and I know that mice don't read, but in books, animals can do things they don't do in real life. Didn't you ever read Charlotte's Web? All the animals talk to each other in that book, and it has an award sticker on the front, which means it's a very good book. Does your mousy book have an award sticker on it? I look at the front, then the back. No stickers. The kids laugh. That's what I thought. A man carrying a little girl walks up behind the kid and puts a hand on his shoulder. You do remember you're supposed to turn that packet into Mrs. Jacobson this morning. First thing, right? He sits down next to the kid. Now look at this one. What's 7 minus 9? The kid says 2 in a really low voice. I think you mean -2, I say. The man smiles at me. We're not quite to negative numbers yet. He turns back to the kid. Let's try it again. The kid puts his head down on the table. Fine, the man says. Samantha has her new book now. We can finish her packet at home. As they're walking away, the little girl points to my book. Look, that book has a mouse on it too. She holds up a book with a mouse and a flower on the cover. Ha! Told you that book was for babies, the kid says to me. He grabs his packet off the table and follows the man. That's when I notice his shoes. Bright red, white laces, tall enough to cover his ankles. I didn't even know they made shoes like that. My shoes are always white and short and boring. See you later, mouse boy, the kid says, then turns the corner and walks out of the library. I stand up to scream to him, to tell him to stop calling me baby and mouse boy, but my chair crashes to the floor and everyone in the children's section stares at me. All 6 of them. And so many eyes on me all at once hurts my stomach. So does being called something that is not my name. Is that what it's going to be like tomorrow? Are the kids in my class going to be mean to me? None of the books said anything about mean kids. They all talked about being a good friend and how to be nice to each other. One book even said that being nice to people is a school rule, and a rule is something you have to follow. But I'm not at school yet. I'm at the library, and there's not a being nice rule here. There's just a being quiet rule. Tomorrow at school, everything will be different. That's what it says in my research. And what you learn in research is always true.